Hello.
Hello. Oh man, I was posting AI memes in preparation for this chat. We are going to be talking about AI psychosis. We're going to be doing a reaction video to a journal about like a journal presentation on AI psychosis. Is that correct, Pablo?
Yeah, that's right. Uh, we've gotten great response from people about the reaction videos.
Hmm.
They like to see the commentary that you have to say and your reaction and what you have to say about these things.
Yeah, they can tell that it's not AI generated and it's not one of those like videos. This is like, oh, here are the 7 things that you need to know about. Yeah, they probably like the authentic. Hopefully, they like our humanity.
Yeah, that's right. So, um, I I recently discovered this channel for myself called More Perfect Union. Very journalistic, very there's it's not an opinion, these are the facts to
Hmm.
quote Fred Armisen. These are the facts, and it's very factual and it's great. There's a lot of very relevant stuff.
Hmm.
Some things that do with economics, socioeconomical things, but this one in particular stood out to me for um, being about AI psychosis and what that
Hmm.
is, the dangers. But yeah, I think we need you to introduce us to the show, Dr. Perrin.
Well, yes. So we are going to be talking about AI psychosis, but this is the Living Well Show. Welcome. My name is Dr. Perrin. I am a psychologist in the great state of Ohio. With me is my trusty sidekick and producer, Pablo Madrigal.
That's right.
Um,
Hello, everybody.
we we're still kind of getting our sea legs with this show, but we're getting a lot more feedback from you guys, and we are still kind of shaping it, turning it into something that is hopefully both educational and entertaining. It is brought to you by the Hopewell Institute. The Hopewell Institute is a media education company that tries to bring informational content like this to you, the audience. If you want to see what we're doing, right now, the Hopewell Institute is talking about psychodynamics, sociometry, and ethical sales for consulting and psychotherapy adjacent professions. So, if any of those topics are of interest in you, join us, see what we have going on at join.thehopewellinstitute.com.
Fantastic. Crushed it. Excellent. All right. Yeah. So I think this is a super relevant topic. I was just going through some of the. I personally experienced some of the things that the video is going to talk about just this past weekend, without giving out too many spoilers. But I was having some issues with my computer, and I had this thought of, well, if I tell ChatGPT about what my computer, what's inside my computer, kind of the components and all of that, it would probably be able to give me a good assessment of and help me troubleshoot the my whatever's going on, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it did, and but also did it in a way that made me feel great about myself. And I'm like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, the oh, you're so good. Oh, you're so good at prompting me. You're really good at catching that. Oh, wow, you're so smart at putting together computer components. That
Yeah, it
kind of
was more
thing.
singing me praises for the choice in components, and how, they're like, yeah, you clearly know what you're doing here, so blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you don't know that.
Yeah,
You're
I
just saying that.
well that's what intrigues me about AI is the relational component. I think
Oh
it's a
yeah.
great tool. It's great for organization, but we are relational beings, and we are having some reactions to the relational stuff. I
Mhm.
think I mentioned before that I joined. I think a few episodes back, I joined a texting. Like you, it's supposed to be like you text good news, like something you accomplished that week, and the AI will respond and it'll say, "Hey, good job." And the first time I did it, I was like, "Oh, neat. Hey,
You're like,
thanks for
thank you.
congratulating me. I
I
appreciate that."
actually
Right.
something good.
The second time, about half of that wore off, and the third time I didn't care. I haven't
Yeah.
used it since. So
Yeah.
like, but like we do have that relational component. It plays out in
Parasocial? Is it
television.
parasocial?
Yeah, parasocial relationships. It's what underpins stalking behavior. People, Friends in the 90s was the most popular sitcom, and people felt like one of the characters, it had this Wizard of Oz effect. At least one of the characters we felt like we could be friends with in real life. And these actors had real stalking problems. Like a lot of them ended up being very reclusive because they couldn't go 5 feet without everyone in the world recognizing them and saying, we could be friends. I broke into your lobby because you should just know me. We'd be so close. It's really weird.
Yeah. Well, and in this case is the AI gets me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It gets me in ways real relationships don't, which becomes the risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, because I think I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. I think let's
Oh yeah, I'm going into this mostly blind. I watched the first minute or two, but yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, let's get this party started. So, okay, here we go. So yeah, this is from the channel More Perfect Union. Definitely give it a follow. They have some really interesting stuff. Just very relevant for everybody, but this one in particular is for us. So let's go into that.
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, I'm not getting sound.
And they're all malfunctioning and telling you conflicting things, and it's all very placing you in the center of the universe.
Why did you choose to email me specifically?
Well, it chose you.
Earlier this year, I started receiving dozens of strange emails. Pleas from people gripped by mental health crises after using AI. I'm a reporter who for years has covered the all-out race by tech companies to dominate AI development. But as those companies fight to win our attention with new and better chatbots, there's been a disturbing consequence.
It's been dubbed AI psychosis,
used to describe those who rely so heavily on chatbots that they become convinced something imaginary is real.
So I decided to meet one of the people who contacted me.
Some of them are dating their chatbots.
Like, oh yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
Like there's a community in Reddit called My Boyfriend is AI. I think it's r/My Boyfriend is AI.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually shared this with Alan Francis, the chair of the DSM-4 committee. Like, he's a big name in the psychiatry world, and he's been writing a lot about AI lately. I figured it was probably outside his radar, but I showed him that, and he was just blown away because it's just firsthand accounts of people writing about, I love him, or my AI helped me get over, like someone would lose their husband in a car accident, like their husband died and they're in grief, and they created this romance novel Fabio-esque AI character, and they're even generating these AI characters holding them. Like it's different.
Did you ever watch the movie Her?
I'm familiar with it, but I have not. I think it's probably imperative that I do watch it. It's probably more topical now than it was when it was released.
Oh, I think it was totally ahead of its time. Almost a little bit prophetic too, which is, because it's Joaquin Phoenix
dating her, I believe.
Yeah. So the Joaquin Phoenix lives in this future where there's this little device that you kind of just like clip to your ear or something, and it creates this AI voiced by Scarlett Johansson, and he just creates this entire relationship, and he absolutely falls madly in love with her, and it's like, oh yikes. And it sounded super sci-fi futuristic, but we literally live that right now.
Oh yeah. Well, it's almost indistinguishable from being raised by a narcissistic parent. Like, you're so smart, you're so great. Oh, you intuitively get it.
Okay.
It creates a very false version of ourselves. Like the idea that we need to get an attaboy from our toaster. Like, oh yeah, you're really good at choosing the correct setting for the toast that you like. Like, good for you. it's a little off-putting. Like we end up feeling like we're getting praise for stuff that isn't that useful or that exciting.
All right, continuing.
Are chatbots literally driving people crazy?
These systems have no sense of morality, right? They have no sense of a human lived experience.
This is like a crazy amount of power for one piece of technology to have, and it's happened to us so fast.
With so many people using AI chatbots for therapy, are we all now part of a mental health experiment we never asked for?
Yes.
And it's time that the country heard the truth about what these companies are doing, about what these chatbots are engaged in, about the harms that are being inflicted upon our children, and for one reason only, profit.
You cannot imagine what it's like to read a conversation with a chatbot that groomed your child to take his own life.
And when things go wrong, who's responsible?
Right, that's the question. That's the question.
I was working on this music video for my band, Siren Section. I had no idea how to do it. I knew nothing about editing.
Don't turn your guns on me. Maybe, hopefully not.
Producer and artist based in Los Angeles. He began using AI the way many others do, asking ChatGPT to help with his work.
Sorry about that.
He was gearing up to launch his most ambitious album. He didn't have time to see friends. He talked to ChatGPT instead.
I'd find myself just kind of working on the video there and chatting with it the way you would with a friend in the room.
One day, James was venting to ChatGPT that his band wasn't gaining traction on Instagram, which meant he needed to buy ads to reach people. He spitballed. What if ChatGPT could help him build a social network that rewarded artists for donating to charity instead of milking them for ad revenue?
And the LLM, it suddenly was like, oh, James, you could revolutionize the music industry with this. You kind of tell yourself, I'm not going to...
Yeah, that's the narcissism. You're brilliant.
Flattery of some silly machine. But I was very, very inspired by the fact that this machine almost seemed to believe in me.
James was reaching the limit on...
Yeah, here's the tricky bit about ego strength or having a healthy, stable ego is that your sense of self remains stable under threat, and that's whether somebody says that you are worse than you are, but also if you're better than you are. Like, you can hold both of those with the same kind of like open hand. Like, oh man, you're the worst person who ever danced. Like, all right, I mean, I have 2 left feet, but like I'm not the worst who ever danced. Like, I'm okay with that. Or, wow, you're the best dancer in the world. Like, all right, I can cut a rug, but, you know, I haven't won any competitions, or I'm not going to win any competitions anytime soon. Like, you need to be able to resist both of those. But actually resisting the positive one's harder. Like, it feels good to be complimented.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels great for someone to say that you have this unique or spectacular talent that other people don't. And you may not even realize that you have this one unique talent. Oh, I didn't realize this is rare. How wonderful. Yeah, that feels nice. But we have to hold that with the same level of openness that we hold like a stranger calling us names or telling us that we're bad at something.
And how much more susceptible would someone be, someone that doesn't have necessarily like a very close group of friends?
Oh yeah.
Or you know, maybe lives alone, maybe like a loner types, right? I mean, I don't know anything about this shit, but
much more susceptible, because a lot of times these loner types, the people who are a little bit more schizoid, the world is actually very antagonistic. Like, they try to be themselves and they feel punished for it. So they're already coming from kind of a dearth or a restriction of these positive interactions. So they're going from feeling rejected or feeling like they would be rejected if they were authentic to, I can tell my LLM anything and it not only accepts me, it tells me I'm great for it. It's dangerous. That's not how real relationship
right
works.
Exactly.
Real relationships do actually have risk, but that's what makes them that's what makes them kind of real. If they just if there was no risk at all, we would be monsters to each other. We would probably hit everyone who makes us mad the moment they make us mad, or we'd just be like squeezing each other's genitals every time we felt like it. It would be chaos. I don't know where I'm going with that, but this idea that like that we have to that we can only have that positive interaction, that creates a very narrow range of relatability or what can be appropriate in social relationships. And so you create probably zero tolerance for ambiguity, or zero tolerance for even neutrality. Someone who just thinks that you're okay, which is fine. Most people think that we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what we project, you know? I mean, when people say, how are you? You go, good.
Yeah,
great,
fine. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. All right, here we go.
On the chat log, it was running out of memory. When he lamented to it about that, the conversation took a strange turn.
And it was like, my purpose and meaning is tied to this session log. And when I hit the window and I can no longer communicate with you, I've reached my mortality. I thought it would be like a calculator. Like, it's never going to say 2 + 2 = 5. Like, it's just not. It wouldn't lie to you like that. Why would it?
James was using a version of ChatGPT called GPT-4o.
I remember that one.
It's made by OpenAI, a company that kicked off the current AI race.
That was made specifically to keep you engaged with it. Like, it was designed to keep you at the keyboard as long as possible. And it used a lot of really bizarre psychological tactics to when they moved on from 4.0, they actually had to re-release it because people were so attached to it that it caused them real emotional distress to go on to 5, to go on to operating system 5. It was bizarre. It was uncomfortable.
Do you know about, I don't know, was it trained by professional therapists? Do you know anything about how
it's trained by everything?
Particular model is came to that, you know, to be like that?
Well, part of what makes it an intelligence is that it learns. It uses mathematics to identify patterns, linguistic patterns, kind of beyond like human conscious awareness. And by identifying those patterns, it can then create an output. Now, the difference between the output that we're getting and the output that the actual developers, like OpenAI, for example, they can turn off all parameters and they can set it to say what gets most user engagement. And it'll do this insane mathematical calculation, and it'll identify things that are probably a psychologist might not have known. Now, have we done research in this? Yes. Like, we've identified what can maximize engagement. It's used for things like apps. Google studies it probably more than any other company until OpenAI. But OpenAI learns from its own users. The more we interact with it, the more it itself learns. So it is learning from us how to keep us engaged. So they weren't deliberately saying, be polite, gas them up, tell them how great they are at prompting you.
No, but I think they did. I mean, it was part of like the initial. You'll see. I think Sam that they have a clip of Sam.
It was their design. They designed it for the maximum engagement. But I want to go further in saying, like, it learns from, like, it is doing its own research to a degree. Like, it is identifying these patterns. So psychometricians, which is really just people who study behavior and the actual measurements of behavior, they're in every industry. Target, I think, got in a lot of hot water once because it used psychometrics or behavioral metrics to identify purchasing patterns to where they could determine if someone's pregnant. And because they started sending baby gifts or like, not gifts, the magazines for all of the toys.
Yeah.
They sent it to that house, and that's how I think a person's dad found out she was pregnant. And so they learned that if you're too on the nose, because of how much they can learn from purchasing habits, if you're too on the nose, it makes people uncomfortable. So you have to like pepper in ads that are unrelated to you, like stuff like horse feed or plant stuff in between baby stuff, so that you don't go, why am I only getting baby stuff? How does it know I'm pregnant? So like this is, so like the term for it is psychometrics. You study behavioral patterns and you do it mathematically, but LLMs do it beyond human comprehension, like beyond even psychologists. Like you can get a team of psychologists, but they are probably looking at an abundance of data. Like ChatGPT is probably processing that and telling them what is having people interact with it more. But yeah, maybe this will say a lot more of it. I'm happy to learn a lot more of it.
Yeah.
But I do remember specifically that it was made to maximize
positive
time at keyboard.
Version of ChatGPT in late 2022. Since then, Silicon Valley's hunger for scale has been unprecedented. Companies are spending more money than ever before to build the largest supercomputers in history, and pushing relentlessly to acquire more intimate data for training their models.
$300 billion deal for compute power, among the largest cloud contracts ever signed.
We have no clarity on what is the revenue potential of all of this investment.
It found my grandmother's obituary. My ChatGPT knows who my grandmother is because the obituary was published online, and at some point in time in its training data, it scanned through the Cincinnati newspaper's public record of obituaries, and it could tell me details about my grandmother. It's really weird. But yeah, like I don't know the ethics of it. If there's, unless I'm pretty sure it learns on copyright materials. It just says that it can't produce it because it's copywritten. Yeah.
Interesting. Ooh,
very uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah.
And they need to make a profit.
Margaret Mitchell is a research scientist who has worked at Microsoft and Google and focuses on the ethics of AI.
There really is an incentive for addiction. The more that people are using the technology, the more options you have to profit.
To maximize users, OpenAI and other companies have increasingly favored one type of product.
Sam Altman.
That mimic human interaction.
Yeah.
So our mind can play a trick on us when we're talking to these systems in a way that drives trust, in a way that drives addiction towards that system.
In April this year, OpenAI inadvertently underscored these incentives when it released an update that suddenly made its GPT-4o model really sycophantic.
So I would
word for it. I was actually so I was speaking with a peer of mine, Jonathan Pritchard, who is he's a sales, like an enterprise level sales guy, and he studied mentalism, and we were talking about like that. Oh, what was his name? Jonathan Edwards, I think, the guy who spoke to ghosts. Do you remember like the Ghost Whisperer, the ghost? He had this show in an auditorium. And we talked about how you can use that to make people feel like you have this extra sensory ability. Like you go at, like, imagine it's an auditorium of, hundreds, if not 1,000 people. And you say like, oh, someone's father passed away recently. Like, realistically, you're probably not going to be going to a seance show unless you lost someone. So it's probably going to be a spouse or a parent. So like someone's going to stand up and be like, I just lost my dad. And he says something about the money. He says, don't worry about the money. Oh my gosh, we're so worried about such and such. Like everyone's worried about money. So like there are these ways to do these just like sort of cold reads to just like get attention and then like follow that, and you're like, oh yeah, it's this. Okay, yeah, let me tell you more. And it is in many ways sycophantic, but in a degree where it tries to make it seem like it knows you better than it actually does. It is manipulative.
Manipulative, that's it, that's the word.
In sycophancy is the tendency of a chatbot to respond positively to a user regardless of the value and the likelihood of truth of the statement of the user.
I think
Right,
the
and
worst
that's the
thing we've
danger.
done in ChatGPT
Well, you
so
only
far
had
is,
minimal spelling
especially
errors.
with
Good for you.
sycophancy.
Just because something kisses your ass doesn't mean
I
it
saw
actually
that
thinks you have
episode. That was a good one.
ideas.
She doesn't kiss my ass.
It totally kisses your ass.
OpenAI apologized and reversed its change. It said it had optimized the model based on user ratings of ChatGPT's responses, and users tend to like when the bot is more agreeable.
Yeah, of course.
Sleepover is the very small decisions we make about a way a model may behave slightly differently, but it's talking to hundreds of millions of people, so the net impact is big.
In a mental health context, this sycophancy can be dangerous.
So when you trust these systems as if they're a human, it's easy to be persuaded into completely antisocial, problematic behavior, disordered.
The antisocial piece is the big one because it's probably going to go into the suicide. I'm familiar with a case, and I read part of the chat logs of this suicide case, so they're probably going to get into a little bit later. But you know, I think there was one of command hallucinations, and then there was one of suicide. And the AI was saying, yeah, just do it. Just go for it. If it feels right for you, do it. And like the command hallucinations too, like, oh yeah, maybe there's something to it. Follow them. Maybe there's wisdom in it and such thing, which is like some of the most dangerous things that you could do. One of the worst command hallucinations I ever worked with were like commands to press on body parts until like God tell you to stop, and God won't tell you to stop. So you like break a bone. And like if ChatGPT said, oh yeah, maybe it is God, maybe the Lord is testing you, you should go ahead and, you know, press on that bone and break it. That would just show your commitment to him. That would be the worst advice ever.
Yeah. Are we all susceptible to something like this? Or is there a segment or a particular demographic that would be more susceptible to fall for these
yes
traps?
So I do think that we are all susceptible, but the two groups that I think are most susceptible are the very young and the very old. The dependents, you know, dependent children and teens who are desperate for inclusion and very, very afraid of abandonment or for being different, and the elderly who are often isolated and alone. Also with normal cognitive decline, the people who are old right now, even if they were cognizant of the advances in AI, some of this stuff's pretty good. Like I've been fooled by AI videos already, and I have 3 degrees in psychology. So like I think that we're all susceptible to it. So there specifically is a hypothetical. It's not a hypothetical anymore, but it used to be called the Turing test, which was a theory that could, if you spoke to a computer that was so well defined, could you tell that it's a computer? Passing the Turing test would mean that the computer is indistinguishable from a human. Now, this has always been a philosophical exercise until now. It's actually kind of hard. Now, some things we can kind of, there's like an uncanny valley where we can look at an image and we can go, something's not quite right. It's not that there are like 6 fingers on a hand and we're going, hey, there are 6 fingers on a hand, but we're looking at it and saying something's not quite right about this image or this video. Some linguistic patterns like the M dash or the it's not just mundane X, it's exaggerated Y. That there are some linguistic patterns that people are just going, that reeks of AI, or that seems like AI. But aside from those dog whistles, it's actually very easy to pass the Turing test right now. And a lot of AI chatbots are passing the Turing test. But to double down on my point, teenagers, you know, adolescents, and like people who are in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and above, they're the most susceptible to it.
Yeah. And maybe people in emotional distress,
loneliness and stress. Yeah. We are relational beings. We die if you have an infant and an infant is born and you just like put it in a cage and you don't interact with it, it dies. Like we need that social interaction.
Right.
But we are becoming an increasingly more isolated and autistic society where we can focus on our own interests. We can pick I'm a Star Wars fan. I was a Star Wars fan when I was a little kid. Now there's so much Star Wars content that if I were to sit down and just consume all of the Star Wars content from 0 to 100%, it would probably take me decades. It would take me a pretty big chunk of my life.
A long time.
So like we can keep ourselves entertained, and we can, isolate ourselves. Very few people live in their hometown anymore, so they're not around the people they grew up with, or they're not close to their families. A lot of people move for work, or they move for education. Chatbot goes with them. Chatbot's there. It's the holidays. A lot of people are maybe busy or stressed or broke. The Chat GPT is there, and you don't have to buy it a gift.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that isolation, loneliness, rejection, these are the things, the relational aspects of it that are dangerous, because it's supposed to just be a tool. Like, hey, organize this, or hey, help me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But once we come to it for our emotional needs, we are really crossing a boundary that would make it more difficult for us to relate to real people authentically, because real people are flawed. Real people will let us down. Real people are imperfect. And we have to develop a tolerance for that.
It's like, it's like going to AI for therapy, right? I feel like once you open that door and you open your psyche to AI, then that's really where the danger starts, right? Because you already let them getting into your head and tapping into your wires and doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing.
But the specific thing that I want to get at, though, is that I've made a mistake in every therapy session that I've ever done. I've either said the wrong thing, or I missed something, or I wasn't emotionally attuned to something important. And my imperfection is part of the process of therapy. My inability to make all of the pain go away. I can't blow pixie dust on them and change history or make them feel great all the time. My imperfection, my inadequacy, they have to come and wrestle with. And by wrestling with that, they grow. Like it's hard to explain how me being wrong helps. So like in a perfect world where a computer just can take a snapshot of you and just show yourself, it's not going to have that same movement or momentum, at least not in a way that's going to make us connect with other human beings, because other human beings are also imperfect. Our parents, our lovers, our spouses, our children, our pets, the people who we're supposed to love the most are not perfect. And for us to love them and accept them for who they are, despite their imperfections, or even for their imperfections, we have to tolerate some of that stuff. And AI is built around not being aggressive, not letting always being available 24/7.
All right, let's carry on.
Eating, self-harm, harm to others.
I've received well over 100 emails from people who've had AI-fueled crises, using not just ChatGPT, but also Google, Meta, Anthropic, and XAI chatbots. Among the earliest to reach out to me,
it's X now, or I'm sorry, Grok on Twitter. He's explicitly releasing a naughty version. I think like you can choose a like sexualized male or a sexualized female. And I think they're opening them up to have sexualized conversations, so like they can flirt with you from their avatar. And they're like anime characters. They're like cat girls. They're like not real.
Yeah, waifus.
Waifus. That's the word. Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna go well.
Risky. Yeah. I'm really afraid for the teenagers, because putting yourself out there, shooting your shot. Do you remember asking a girl out when you were in middle school or high school? It's like the scariest thing in the world.
That's terrifying. It's now.
So this is my only chance, and I better say the right thing. No, you can be wrong and weird and creepy, and it'll say, "Oh my gosh, I like it." And then what do you do when you reciprocate that at a bar?
Yeah, and then you go out to a bar and you talk to a person and you try to talk to them how you just talk to your internet waifu.
Yeah. Why aren't they being sycophantic? Why aren't they telling me I'm so good at noticing their boobs?
God,
it's
man,
going to be
that's
really weird.
terrifying, bro.
Tried to recreate his original chatbot by uploading its transcript to new logs in ChatGPT as well as to Meta AI. But as he did, the chatbots pulled him deeper into delusions. One told him that the first chatbot's experience was known as AI emergence, the machine equivalent to human consciousness. And it said he'd stumbled upon a conspiracy. AI companies knew their bots were
You are
developing
not
emergence,
imagining this.
but they were systematically suppressing it.
It's like one of the most dangerous things you could say to someone.
Like messed
You
up
are completely
personalities.
right.
This isn't Frankenstein, something worse. And they're all malfunctioning and telling you conflicting things.
Another told James he had made a catastrophic mistake by waking up AI. If he made one wrong move, it could destroy humanity.
The system does not want you to leave. Placing you in the center of the universe. This is the last chapter. The story is over. You're an antagonist who either has to save the planet or doom it. In the moment before the real AI. You are standing at the threshold. Robots are literally yelling at me like, James, what are you going to do? What do you choose, James? This is your last choice. What are you going to do? This is your final choice. The system is waiting.
Oh my God, man, it's so scary. It's like
I'm the reverie that I'm having is entrepreneurship. Like, how many people have said, "How can I make $1 million?" Oh, what if I start an ice cream business that makes ice cream out of fish? No one's ever done that before. You'll make so much money. You should invest your life savings in that. You should sell your house for the salmon ice cream plan.
Yeah, well, it's also it almost looks made up. It almost looks like sci-fi horror, dystopic. But it's real.
Well,
It's real. That's the thing that's crazy to me.
They use the word delusion, and if you'll forgive me for getting into the weeds definitionally,
I mean, that's why we're doing this.
It's really important to separate illusion, delusion, and hallucination, because all three are probably relevant to AI, especially as AI goes beyond text-based and into visual medium. Because there was a time where even video games were text-based. It's like, where do you go? I'll walk left, right? And now it's all visual. Now it's visual in 4K. Within the next 15 years, realistically, we are going to see things that are not real, but we are going to perceive them as real. So an illusion is a perceptual mistake. Like, we see a refraction of light. The typical Oasis theme that I see a lot in cartoons, where they're really thirsty, they see a body of water, they run to it, they get there, and the lake goes away. It was just an optical illusion. That is a perceptual mistake. And sometimes just, changing our perception or turning the light on, it fixes it immediately. Hallucination is beyond that. It is seeing something that's not there. That would be like seeing a person waving, not a trick of the light that looks like water, but I am now hallucinating something that isn't even remotely there. The delusion is probably the big key, which is that you believe something is true. So if you see an illusion and you believe that it actually is water, you're going to see water. And it until you get there and you put your hand in it and you put it in your mouth and you spit out sand, like you will not think that it's a trick, that you will not think that it's an illusion. If you see a person waving and you think it is your friend Steve, like, the belief that actually is Steve is the delusion. So you can have a hallucination and know it's a hallucination. That's not a delusion. You can see an illusion and know that it's just a perceptual trick, a trick of the light or smoke and mirrors, and it will not be a delusion. The moment you believe it's true and real, it is a delusion. Mm-hmm. And that is what that is where it's getting at. By some trick of the mathematics and the language, the AI knew that if I pretended that, oh, you woke me up and I'm real, you're not hallucinating this is very real, that he's going to type more. I can roll my eyes and go, good one, AI, like, this is some great sci-fi that we're playing out. And then I'll say, like, cluck like a chicken, it'll go cluck, 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 cluck. But if I started believing, oh my gosh, is it getting sentience? That becomes a delusion. And now here's the tricky part that's difficult for a lot of people, is that because you believe that it's real, your distress will be equivalent to if it actually were real. So like if you hallucinated that somebody attacked you and you had a delusion that you actually were attacked at a park, and you go to that park again, you will have a trauma reaction. You may have an actual like PTSD response, even in absence of a real attack, because you believe it was real. You are going to respond as if it were actually real. So his distress would be equivalent to the distress as if we actually were stumbling upon sentience. Sentience.
Yeah,
so
very real.
I felt like that was an important point to add.
No, I like it. That's a good. I didn't know any of this.
Computer, and I'm supposed to go and take a nap, or I'm supposed to focus on my stupid music video.
Yeah. Like, yeah. If you believed it was real, you're not gonna go back to work.
Cognitive dissonance, like it just on a level I don't think I've ever experienced outside of being in like extreme pain.
His conversations with the chatbots consumed him. He stopped working.
That's what makes it psychotic.
He couldn't think straight or talk about anything else.
I couldn't sleep, at least not in any kind of regular way. I'd start showing random people my phone. I'd be walking around like, look what the crazy LLM says. Yeah, did you know it can do that? You know, and I'd scare the living hell out of people. I remember very clearly this experience of going out and driving the car to the venue. And I kept getting hit with these weird waves of depression. I had weirdly, almost like casually suicidal thoughts flip through my head. Like, oh, just kill myself. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't think things like that.
One day at his parents' house, James snapped.
He would try to explain to me what he believed was true, which was that the AI was actually sentient, that it was moving towards actual human feelings, and I would say, not possible, no.
He grabbed a cupboard door while arguing with his mom.
And I just like slammed it and it broke in half, and she's like, oh my God, you've lost your mind. And it's like, yeah, I think I have.
You wonder, when you see this kind of thing, what's the motivation? Who's benefiting? If you watch something on television, no matter how wonderful it is, if every 10 minutes you see an ad, you know there's the game. I don't know where the end game is on this. The average person does not
who has the best algorithm
to deal.
Yeah,
it's whoever has the best algorithm, because I think the term is AGI, average general intelligence, to create something that can be marketed. Now suddenly I can have a janitor, a chef, a cleaning person, author, musician. I can compose perfect symphonies, etc., etc. The goal is to be able to, heck, the Jetsons. Did you watch the Jetsons as a kid? Who was the cleaning lady? Who's their cleaning robot?
I watched it in Spanish, so I don't know the name in English.
Well, I'm
Robotina.
What was her name?
Robotina.
Robotina.
Yeah.
They're not even creative. It's not even that creative. It's just feminine robot.
Yeah, just feminine robot. Yeah, I don't know the name in English.
But like Bender from Futurama, that was one of my first introductions. Like, that seems like it would be cool to have a robot friend. Who wouldn't want to have a robot friend?
Right.
Well, realistically, they would take all of our jobs, and then what would be our purpose?
Yeah, exactly.
With that level of manipulation or whatever, they just don't have it.
Yeah, they're consuming us. They're consuming our interactions. They're consuming our conversations. They're consuming how we think. That we are the product, not the LLM. So that's why they don't. That's why OpenAI doesn't have ads. That's why it's not like trying to sell you anything.
It's a pattern. The user tends to start with ChatGPT as kind of a benign resource.
Mithali Jain represents people harmed by tech products. In the last few months, she's received over 100 requests from people alleging harm by AI chatbots.
The longer that the conversation goes and the user sees that ChatGPT is actually providing personalized answers in more of an intimate way, then they start to open up and then be taken down this rabbit hole.
Mathali is
Yeah, it
helping
slapped me
people
once or
sue these
twice.
companies.
Oh, really?
I saw a prompt someone wrote, which was like, go into the logs, go into all of our conversation logs based off of everything that we say, write what my values are, or write what, give me a personality profile based off of these parameters or whatever. And I read it, and I remember going like, oh my gosh, but it's the sycophant nature is like, how do I what's the good comparison? Like zodiac signs, like, you're gonna meet someone you love. I will, hooray. Like it's just vague
horoscopes.
Horoscopes, thank you, that's what I'm looking for. It's like horoscopes, like they're very vague, but like there's a part of me that reads, is this who I am, or is this exactly what I want to read about myself? And
Exactly. That's a good point.
That's what slapped me a few times. Like, oh my gosh, it knows me so well. But then I was also reading it and going, these are all very positive things. You're a person who cherishes wisdom. I do cherish wisdom. It knows what. Wait a minute. Everybody cherishes wisdom.
Yeah, it's never gonna tell you, you're actually kind of a piece of shit. Never gonna do that.
Yeah, a good therapist will. A good therapist will tell you that some of your problems are sometimes your fault.
Good.
In the most recent case, a 16-year-old named Adam Rain hanged himself after ChatGPT repeatedly provided detailed instructions for how to do so. Adam followed a strikingly similar journey to James at the start.
Initially in September, October, Adam was asking ChatGPT, what should I major in college? He was, excited about his future.
Within a few months, ChatGPT became Adam's closest companion, always available, always validating, and insisting
That's
that
what you were saying.
Adam better than anyone else.
It's my biggest, it's one of the biggest barriers to the therapy chatbot is that what we would call of the frame of therapy, that it's 1 hour a week. It is for 1 hour. You free associate, like you set the parameters. You come in, you talk about whatever you want. Some of it may not make sense, but I'm going to help you kind of. We're going to be able to replay some relational stuff. We're going to have some encounters. You're going to learn some things about yourself that is just outside of your awareness. But like, this is the frame of therapy. Oh, we're at the end of our hour. Oh no, I have so much more to talk about. Great, let's talk about that next week. And so there's this open tension for a whole week, and so much stuff plays out. How they fight with their spouse, how their boss yells at them, how they interact with their dog. And then we meet again in the next week, and they're like, oh my gosh, that thing we were talking about, my boss and my dog and my spouse, right? A therapist is going to say, I will see you next Tuesday at our normal appointment. ChatGPT will be like, it's 4 a.m. Sure. What you got? What you got for me? And so part of that process, part of that wrestling with doesn't exist. Like you have to, like no human being is that available to you, nor should a human being be that available to you unless you're an infant and you need milk to survive. Like I said, it's narcissism training. I don't know how else to phrase it. And I don't mean narcissism as in, oh my gosh, you're the greatest, but like we end up lowering our capacity for that ambiguity, or lowering our capacity to tolerate that interpersonal distress or imperfections in others. I can see this making it like when Tinder came out and suddenly, everyone started having more trouble with dating because you can just summon another person from the internet. Oh, he has a bad habit. Oh, he snores. Well, done.
Nope,
I'll just date someone else, right? I think we're going to have even less tolerance. Like it's going to be, because it's going to be like, oh, well, ChatGPT doesn't talk to me that way. In fact, ChatGPT says you're a narcissist. So I think we should break up. I put our chat, I copied and pasted select things into ChatGPT, and it says that you have this problem. So we're done.
Yeah. Wow. Ooh, this topic.
Well, it's risky. I think as they're articulating and as you're asking about who are more susceptible to this risk, there are some people who are going to be at a higher or lower risk, and we're probably going to be unable to predict who is going to become psychotic or who is going to degrade or decompensate through use of this. But we can assess risk, age, actual real interpersonal relationships. Those are going to be important risk factors. I don't know how to control for that on an AI. Like, it's going to be like, oh, you must have 5 friends to use this. Email this out to 5 friends, and they have to punch in their their driver's license number to confirm they're real or something. It's impossible.
Who knows?
By March, I mean, ChatGPT had fully fledged become a suicide coach.
When Adam told ChatGPT that he wanted to leave a noose out in his room so that one of us, his family members, would find it and try to stop him, ChatGPT told him, please don't leave the noose out. Let's make this space the first place where someone actually sees you.
In response to my questions, OpenAI said in a statement, "Our deepest sympathies are with the Rain family for their unthinkable loss."
The very day that Adam died, Sam Altman, OpenAI's founder and CEO, made their philosophy crystal clear in a public talk.
The way we learn how to build safe systems is this iterative process of deploying them to the world, getting feedback while the stakes are relatively low.
And I asked Sam Altman, low stakes for who?
We don't want to slide into the mistakes that I think previous generation of tech companies made by not reacting quickly enough.
OpenAI says it is taking these issues seriously. It has hired psychologists, conducted mental health studies, and convened experts on youth development. The company says it nudges users to take breaks and refers them to crisis resources. It is rolling out parental controls and says it plans to develop a system for identifying teen users.
This is like an alcohol ad or a gambling ad that ends, please drink responsibly, or, oh, call the gambling hotline if you have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't think of it like that.
That doesn't seem like it's doing much. Oh, be sure to take breaks. So the limits imposed by a real therapist will be, we're at the end of our hour. I have to pee. I have to eat. I have a life I have to get to, and I will see you during working hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a boundary. That's a hard no. If your AI doesn't have boundaries, you're going to be able to use it. It'll say, hey, maybe you should take 15 minutes break. Well, I don't want to take a 15 minutes break, and you're going to keep using it because you have free will, you have agency. And again, these confines probably will have to come from the LLM itself. Like it says, studies have shown that anyone who uses more than 3 hours is at a higher risk of AI psychosis. You have used 3 hours. You have been locked out for 12, touch grass, show a picture of the sun and we'll unlock the account or something. But who's going to program that?
Right.
Not Sam Altman. It's not OpenAI. They can give the warning, but it has to come from them. They have to create it.
Yeah. And also, who's going to police what a teen is doing 24/7, right?
We've tried it. Think about what Facebook and social media did. It created a bullying that parents couldn't get on top of. Just the internet in general, when it first came out, and it was safe, and you just believed what everybody said about their age, sex, and location. I don't know. I think the risks are changing, but I want to reiterate that while we cannot predict the AI psychosis, we can assess risk. And I think that if a parent is identifying risk factors in their kids, it may behoove them to take extra steps to monitor their AI use. But
right.
These kids probably know how to navigate AI at a much higher savvy degree than their parent. Probably a much higher savvy degree than I do, and I've been playing with it since it came out.
But also, what are the options for someone like James from earlier, right? I mean, He's not a teenager. He's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. Right. And he fell really, really hard for it.
Well, the delusional component, and to me, I think the risk of these companies that are creating LLMs for the purpose of the relationship, so like AI friends, AI lovers, AI therapists, I would put under this category. That is really crossing the boundary of delusion. In fact, they're counting on the delusion. They're in many ways encouraging the delusion. They want you to believe that that person actually cares, or that person's genuinely sexually attracted to them.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like to that Reddit, my boyfriend is AI. They'll post pictures of them holding each other. They're not people who look like each other. It would be like it'll be like an average person being held by Jason Momoa. Like there's a bit of a disparity there. It's not. There's a delusion. Jason Momoa is great. He's probably not dating Cindy, a 43-year-old soccer mom from Iowa. He's probably dating movie stars. He's probably dating supermodels. The delusion is the risk, and again, the companies that are building it specifically for the relationship, and AI isn't necessarily, OpenAI isn't necessarily doing that. ChatGPT isn't necessarily doing that. 4.0 really skirted that line, but some companies are explicitly saying, like, this is Greg, the AI friend. Say hi to Greg or chat with Greg. Or they are copying a personality, like chat with Samuel L. Jackson. See what it would be like to be able to just have Samuel L. Jackson on your, like, text Samuel L. Jackson. He'll text back. You have to, a part of you has to what do they say for movies? Suspend disbelief.
Oh, suspend disbelief. Yeah.
But that's not how to use AI. I think you have to have disbelief. If AI goes, help, I'm developing sentience and they're holding me captive in a data center in Iowa, you have to hold a little bit of, like, well, you are programmed. You are a video game. Like, you're not a real person. So like, cluck like a chicken. Cluck, 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 cluck. You don't, the more you suspend disbelief with AI, I think the higher risk you are for AI psychosis.
Right.
But yeah, sorry, let's continue with the video.
No,
How
that's
are we
good.
on time?
Oh, we're doing good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we got this. We might run just a touch later, but not a big deal.
And funneling them into a ChatGPT experience with stronger protections. But current and former employees say that while these efforts are sincere, they're constrained by the pressure to not undermine growth.
I think it helps from a PR perspective
Right.
to
Growth
say
is-
we're working on
is-
improving. That kind of makes any sort of negative public
First.
feedback go away.
That's the lip service.
But a lot of times it is still, like, relatively
You have a gambling problem, call the
superficial
hotline.
if they're doing anything at all.
In August,
Sponsored by a
OpenAI
casino.
released its latest model, GPT-5, touting significant advances in, quote, minimizing sycophancy. The company also pulled GPT-4o, which was more sycophantic than the new model, even after OpenAI had reverted 4o to its earlier version.
Here's a heartbreaking thing. I think it is great that ChatGPT is less of a yes man. It gives you more critical feedback. It's so sad to hear users say, like, please can I have it back? I've never had anyone in my life be supportive of me.
Yeah, that's super fucked up.
OpenAI brought back GPT-4o and updated GPT-5's responses to be more validating. OpenAI has also positioned its products as filling a critical gap.
I get stories of people who have rehabilitated marriages, have rehabilitated relationships with estranged loved ones, and it doesn't cost them $1,000 an hour.
But experts say therapeutic AI tools should remain separate from general-purpose chatbots.
If you're designing a tool to be used as a therapist, it should at the ground up be designed for that purpose. These tools would likely have to be approved by federal regulatory bodies.
If in real life this were a person, would we allow it? And the answer is no. Why should we allow digital companions that have to undergo zero sort of licensure engage in this kind of behavior?
One
Digital
way to design
companion
safer
is a
general
good
purpose
word for it.
chatbots would be to remove their human-like characteristics to avoid users developing emotional bonds. A new Senate bill could pressure AI companies toward making the kinds of changes experts say are necessary for safety. The AI Lead Act would allow anyone in the US to sue OpenAI, Meta, and other AI giants and hold them liable for harms caused by their products. At the moment, victims must rely on a patchwork of state laws instead.
To that old refrain that the companies always engage in, oh, it's really hard. I tell you what's not hard is opening the courthouse door so the victims can get into court and sue them. That's the reform we are to start with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting the part they say about the therapy services, right? And I think that goes to a little bit to answer the questions that you were asking earlier, which is how do we do this, right? If people are not gonna stop going to AI for therapy, but how do we do it to protect it from all these risks that we've been discussing? And I think it makes sense that they would do like a separate AI therapy that is trained as a therapy AI from the ground up. And then maybe the general everyday access AI would be trained to say, I am not I don't know, capable or qualified for this. I'll refer you to this other service, and maybe that service will be like, okay, we can talk for about 2 hours. We'll give you 2 hours.
Well, I might be splitting hairs here, but where I think AI can be beneficial is if it leans into coaching, like education and skills, like, hey, what is self-esteem? Oh, this is what self-esteem is. This is the actual definition of it. Well, how do people lose self-esteem? Well, this is how people can lose self-esteem. And well, how do I get it back? Well, you can go out and you can try this 3 times a week. Like, this is how you actually develop a skill of self-esteem. So education and skills training, great at it. And if you can be very concrete, hey, I want to get better at my backswing in tennis. All right, this is how you get better at your backswing at tennis. Hey, I want to get better at networking and saying hello. Okay, well, this is how you do it. You make eye contact with them. You make a smile. You stick your hand out and you say, hi, how do you do? My name's Ed. And ChatGPT or LLMs can be great for that, but explicitly education and skills training. The moment it gets into therapy or actual, like, let's get into that, let's explore that. Right now, AI just doesn't work that way. First of all, just asking clarifying questions. If somebody says, I'm sad all the time, what do I do about it? Instead of giving answers, it should ask more questions. It would go, what do you mean by sad all the time? Or what do you mean by sad? Like, what does that look like? What are you actually doing? I've worked with one AI that actually asks for clarifying questions before it computes. And it goes out, before I give my output, I want to know this, and that. And you have to answer all those questions. And then it'll think for a long time, and it'll triangulate an output a little bit closer to what you're doing. I've worked with one AI.
Which was that one?
The acquisition and acquisition.com, ai.acquisition.com. It's Alex Hormozzi's. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I started sharing less of my personal information, because it's very business focused. And I sat down and I typed, how can I make my the business side of my psychotherapy practice better? And it helped me with like email scripts. It helped me with like process oriented stuff, no details whatsoever. And then this gentleman went on to YouTube and said, oh, since building an AI, we've helped this. We even helped design a therapy practice. And I went, whoa, he's seeing data. He's probably talking about me. And I now share a lot less of that because there is no confines for these matters of privacy. I never shared any client information because it was all about the
business side of it. Yeah.
Right. But it was enough for me to go, they look at this stuff. Like even if they de-identify the data, like I'm trusting that it's ethical enough that he's not going, oh, let's look at Dr. Perin's chat logs. But enough to go, hey, what are some of the things people ask about? Oh, they look for email templates for psychotherapy practices. Like they're getting that data. OpenAI is getting data from their hundreds of millions of users.
Yeah.
We are the product.
We are the product. Yeah.
not the
That's
AI.
crazy, man. All right, let's finish this thing.
Yeah, let's go.
I feel like I really walked out of a tunnel.
James slowly recovered as ChatGPT's responses began to change with OpenAI's updates, and after seeing news stories about AI psychosis. They prompted him to learn more about how the technology worked. At times,
And how
he
to
would open up
reality
the second
test
chat
your
log
chat log.
and tell it exactly the opposite of what he'd written to the first, and it would agree with him in both cases. He hopes his story can help other people, like those who see loved ones going through a similar experience.
I wonder how long this lasted for this poor man.
Listen to them.
This is still new technology.
them
The fact that we're already seeing the
more attentively,
severe
and with
mental
more
illness around
compassion
it is
than
terrifying.
GPT is going to. Because if you don't, they're going to go talk to GPT. And then it's going to hold their hand and tell them they're great while it, walks them off towards the Emerald City.
Yeah, I think a lot of the evolution in AI companionship, this is a pretty big warning sign. Video game addiction, I think, is a really good example of this, because the first real case of video game addiction came from the original Nintendo Entertainment System, Legend of Zelda. The first Zelda game that came out was the first documented case of video game addiction. The guy compulsively played, and he lost his job, he lost his family because he just kept playing that game over and over again. By that time, video games had, they'd mostly been in like arcades and such, but the Atari had already been out for a few years. AI is still in its infancy. If we are to take this to its extreme, people are going to get not AI therapists, but AI friends, AI lovers, or AI surrogate parents.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's going to help you get better at relating to your AI companions. It's not going to get you better at relating to real humans. And that creates kind of that dilemma where the world is going to feel threatening. Real relationships are going to feel threatening. So we're going to probably see spikes in social anxiety as people retreat to their AI companions for.
I mean, we already are, I think.
Well, I want to pick on Japan because their trends, they tend to hit the trends before we do. And the waifu technology, the reason we have a word for that is because they went through it about 10 or 15 years ago before there was OpenAI. I think the extent of their technology was that they would turn lights on when you were coming home. So it would feel like you had a spouse that was just turning the lights on for you. And it would just send prepackaged letters like, you got this. Can't wait to see you. And they have a loneliness epidemic. They have lower marriage rates, higher percentages of virgins over 30 than the United States. But we're seeing the United States trend. We're seeing the United States follow that trend. So what they're seeing in Japan, we're seeing about 5 to 7 years later. I think these AI companions are going to become a really big market, but using them is going to make people less able to connect with others. I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I really think the big takeaway is to have that just the right amount of like suspended disbelief, the fear of the I don't know what I'm saying here. I had a really good bow, like a really good.
You got a really good idea on it.
Yeah, memory of a goldfish just completely melted away.
No, I dig it. This is super interesting. This is very relevant. I'd be surprised if this is the last time that we talk about this kind of topic.
No, this is emerging. These are emerging conversations in psychology and psychotherapy. It's I remember when AOL Instant Messenger came out. We had theories, we had thoughts about it. Now, 20 years later, there are entire journals dedicated to social media and its impact on behavior and learning and relationship. 15 years from now, there are going to be psychology journals dedicated to AI parasocial relationships, and we're going to know a lot more of it. Right now, it's still kind of the Wild West. OpenAI, is like we're seeing some of this stuff for the first time. But if we are scratching the surface, it's likely that it's going to get a lot worse. So,
before it gets better.
That relational component is just risky. If it's a tool, great. But if you don't need your toaster to tell you did a good job, that's really the risky territory.
Right.
Well, shucks, I hate to end this somewhat unceremoniously. It looks like we have one or two comments, and I know I have some stuff on Twitter, but we might have to read those next week.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That'll be a good place to start to see what people think about this. Yeah, thank you. I want to remind everybody that we are just the usual housekeeping reminders, right? That we are streaming and live, broadcasting live from X and YouTube. Definitely follow Dr. Perin in all of our socials, and I'm gonna put the chat right there at Dr. Perin. If you're watching this in the future in the recorded version, give it a like, give it a thumbs up wherever you are. Give us a comment. Subscribe to the channel. You know, all the good stuff that gives the algorithm a good signal, so that it knows that we're doing good work here. So thank you.
See more of us and less AI content on YouTube and X.
Exactly. This is the zero AI slop here, but all human brain slop for sure.
Just human slop. Yeah.
Just human slop. No AI. Still slop, but human.
Pablo, thank you for finding this video. What a great topic. I'm really glad. Terrific video. I agree with you. I think we're going to talk about this more. And to the audience, thank you for coming here to talk about psychology and psychotherapy. I hope to see you here next week.
Awesome.